PGA European Tour is brought to you by Volvo.
Hello and a warm welcome from me, Warren Humphreys, to this, the old and historic city of Rabat, for the final day's play of the Moroccan Open. This the 7th event on the PGA European Tour, and following a brief stop in Europe last week for the Open Catalonia, the professionals are back in Africa, this time to the northwest of the continent. The venue is the red course of the Royal Golf Dar es Salaam, scene of the Hassan II Trophy won by Nick Price at the end of last year. The course, designed by Robert Gent Jones, is a monster at 7,359 yards, a par 72, and playing all its length today, there being heavy rain this morning. But certainly the course, a beautiful layout, and a fine test of golf. Well, the story so far, all about the Swedish player Peter Hedblom. A work of 974 yesterday, following a 68 and a 67, saw him to the top of the leaderboard by 3 shots. But best out of the pack of the trailing was Wayne Westner, winner of 3 events this year, one of those on the European Tour, the FNB Players Championship. He started with 3 birdies today to get to 4 under par. But Hedblom, strong enough to hold off the challenge as he went to the turn in 35, 1 under par, 3 birdies and 2 shots. He holing a putt here on the 12th to save his par. So Hedblom starting today a lot better than he did yesterday. Yesterday he suffered on the opening 9 holes with a severe hook and really put a lot of pressure on his short game, but today a little bit better out of the blocks. Started with a bogey on the 2nd but birdied the 3rd. Here up on the 18th, Ian Woosnam, a man that put a bit of a challenge together earlier today, out in 35, got it to 1 under par, starting the day at level. Got it to 3 under with a couple of birdies on 11 and 12, but a few slipped putts and his challenge really fading. This birdie attempt on 18 nearly got up in 2, but that's the story of Woos's game so far this week. Hard to buy a putt. Of course, he putted so well when he won the first 2 events of the season in Singapore and the Heineken Classic in Perth. That's why he's at the top of the Volvo rankings. A round today of 70 and a disappointing finish there. That bogey on 16 really ending his chance, but still out top of the leaderboard, the Swedish player Hedblom at 8 under. Ribeiro birdied the 12th hole to get to 5, so he's making things a little bit more difficult for the Swedish player, and Westner, after that fine start, really not able to continue with that really astonishing first birdie blitz. Hedblom once again in trouble on the 13th, another hook tee shot, and if you get it off the fairway round this course at the Royal Golf Dar es Salaam, well, very difficult to get it onto the green. Thick woodland, heavy rough, and to these angled greens with bunkers around most of the holes, well, you've got your work cut out. Romero back in Europe after a brief spell in the United States last year. Didn't really go too well over there. Good to see him back. And he's playing pretty steadily today. 72, 74, good round of 67 yesterday and hanging in there. And another fine iron shot into the heart of this 13th green. Romero out in 1 under. 1 under for the back 9. Our first look today of Santiago Luna. Second shot to the 16th with a medium iron. This is where Hedblom has really kept ahead of the pack so far this week. Managed to get out of trouble when he has hit it offline off the tee. Hit a really wild second shot on the 2nd, the par 3. Missed the green by almost 40 yards to the right. Pitch. I have a testy one though across and down the slope there on 13. Never led a tournament at at the start of the week, but so far has led right from the blocks, and that culminating in a lot of pressure for the young man. Tony Johnson. Good iron shot for Tony there. Back to the 16th, Luna with his birdie attempt. Greens on this course particularly quicker, certainly when you get above the hole, and even considering the amount of rain that they had the early part of the day, which was extremely heavy, they're certainly not slowing down. Raymond Russell, he was 4 under par for the tournament at the turn, dropped a couple of shots on this back 9, but this only his second event on the European Tour, and he really needs a good finish this week if he's going to play in Dubai next week. Not high enough on the qualifying schools to really get into these events, but a top 10 finish will see him playing next week. Well, if Romero is going to catch Hedblom, it's these sort of putts which he needs to hole. Certainly not easy on these greens, but Hedblom playing so well. To put it in perspective, when Howard Clark won round here in '87 and David Guilford in '92, they won with scores of 4 under par and 1 under. Just goes to show you how well Hedblom has played in these first 3 rounds. So birdie attempt for Romero. And he's certainly shaved the holes a number of times over the last 6 or 7 holes. Nothing really going for him today. And he stays at 5 under. Luna won the Madeira Island Open last year, his first event in Europe. Certainly Seve predicted great things for this man, and maybe Luna ought to, or Seve ought to watch Luna play. Seve having played this week, his first event, and missing the cut, in fact, after 2 rounds, 22 shots behind this man here, Hedblom. This to save par, so no easy putt, one outside the left edge of the hole. Beautifully done. He's got a long handle putter, it's about 39 inches long, and he tucks it up his just under his left elbow to try and have the left wrist firm through impact. And once again, managing to save his par, keep his momentum going. You can see that peculiar putting style with his left thumb over his right wrist. Wrist going through quite firm, and look at the desire on his face. So Hedblom stays ahead by 3 from Romero, 4 from Westner, and Luna, well, he a little bit further back. We're going to take a short break. Can Hedblom hold on? Rejoin us in a few moments after these to find out. And welcome back to this, the final round of the Moroccan Open. On the 14th hole, Eduardo Romero, 206 yards, this par 3. Good birdie opportunity, but pin cut on the left-hand side. And that's not what Romero wanted to leave it. There's quite a severe slope from right to left. He'll be coming across it and down the hill. This was Tony Johnson a few moments ago on this green, just to give you some idea of what the slope is like. And that a beautiful putt by Johnson. You can see how much it turned, and that moved Johnson to 2 under par. Started the day at 3 under Johnson, so he won over for the round. Hedblom 1 under so far. And considering the way he's played over these final 2 days, really managing to hold it together quite well. Certainly not on the top of his form. That may be due to a little bit of tension, maybe due to a little bit of poor technique. He was practicing last week in the snow. In fact, he was practicing in the nets because there was snow outside his back door. And you can see still a little bit rusty maybe. So Romero gave him the chance to hit it on the green. Romero in a little bit of trouble on the front edge, but tension still there in the arms and hands of Peter Hedblom. Tension too in this man's swing I detect over these closing 9 holes. Raymond Russell. '23 from Edinburgh. Only won £528 on the European Tour. So really going after a big check this week. Rocker. Second shot to the 16th hole. And a touch of the old Latin temperament. Played quite well actually up to now, Rocker. But like Woosnam, not happy on the greens this week. Things not going for him, and that just raising the hackles on the back of his neck a little. Tony Johnson, 15th tee. Bunker up the right-hand side, slight dog leg from left to right. So it's up the left side you want to be. And that's in perfect spot. Tony looking pretty good with the swing at the moment this year. Had a couple of top 10 finishes already. And our first view too of Peter Mitchell, not having a happy day of it so far. Started the day at 2 under. Managing to get that somewhere around the hole. He's keeping a smile, but things not going well for Peter today. Good to see some of the local people out and about. They were deterred at the early part of this round because of that early rain, but they're now flooding back, if you'll excuse the pun, back to the course. Here Romero from the front of the green, and just look at this ball turn now. Looks pretty good. Whoa now, whoa now, whoa now, just look at that go. Gives you some indication why these players are scoring quite high this week. The average score somewhere around the 74 mark. Course long, greens quick. Grappasoni side the round, 1 under. 4 over, a pretty good chip there, lovely touch. But he'll be disappointed with his form today. Now what can Peter do in reply? Sounded a little bit soggy, that. Went into the wet sand, didn't really come out the way he wanted to. Could have been a little bit firmer on the upslope of the bunker there. Never easy when sand has been affected by rain. Boone on the 17th. Really tough par 3 today. Pin cut on the right-hand side, 225 yards. Very difficult to get near the flag, but that's a beautiful 2 by Luna. So he moves now to 4 under. 4 shots back from this man here. At Hedblom, this to save his par. Well, one of the few putts we've seen him miss on their back 9. And that will certainly give heart to Eduardo Romero, his playing partner. And things don't get easy when you're chasing your first tour title. this D.A. Russell on the 18th, and the man playing with him, Wayne Westner, and I can tell you Westner has hit 2 enormous shots onto this 18th green. Disappointingly, it looks like David Russell is not going to finish in the top 10, which he needs to play next week. It's going to be a round of 76 for David A. 3 over par, so slightly disappointing for him, but Westner playing with him, the hole playing slightly downwind today, severe dogleg. I said 555 yards, a very, very narrow green, and Westner out with the iron has hit it just behind the hole to about, well, what is it, 10 feet. This for an eagle, this to get him to 6 under and be 1 behind Hedblom. Well, it looks a terrible putter, and it is certainly not the best that he's hit this week, but I can assure you that's very quick down there, but that was a complete, real misread by Wayne Westner. He'll make his birdie, but he'll be unhappy by that. A good closing round of 68. Disappointing that 6-5 on the 5th and 6th. Just spoilt his run there, but you can see those good opening birdies, 3 in a row. So Westner having his chances and not really making the most of them. Rocket on the 17th tee. Long iron, need to aim it in towards the middle of the green and just move it a little bit left to right. Rocket deciding against that. Hitting it almost with a slight draw. Now Romero, can he save his putt on the 14th? Well done, sir. So Romero now 2 behind the Swede, and things certainly beginning to hot up a little. Westner finishing on 18 there with that 68. He's 2 behind and in the clubhouse. And Romero playing with Hedblom just 2 back. Tony Johnson. Neat little chip there. So good around the greens is Johnson. Tends to putt with a real aggressive putting stroke on the lines of Gary Player, real pop stroke. Well, no holding back Hedblom. He may not be happy with the way he's driving, but he's still giving it a fierce dig, and look there once again, clattering it into the trees. And that's one of the rules officials there, having a quick snack. It's an early start for him, and you can see on this 15th hole how the hole slightly doglegs from left to right. Hedblom trying to stay clear of that bunker away on the right-hand side. He's pulled it well nearly onto the 16th fairway away to the left. Hole turns half right, and those huge traps guarding the front of the green. Been today cut on that top right-hand corner. And playing before Hedblom, this again off tape, was Romero. El Gato, as he's called, the cat, stalking his prey. Another fine tee shot, that right down the middle of the fairway. And, well, certainly keeping the pressure hard and fast on Hedblom. Russell dropped another shot on the 15th hole. And important that he keeps his game together. Consider it the 12th, he was 4 under, vying for this title. Now slipping back down the leaderboard. He's not got to start thinking about next week. He's got to try and focus on this week. Rocker putts on 17. My word. Well, a grunt and a groan you could probably hear in the distance. And hard to contain his Latin temperament, Rocker. I'm sure many of us can feel for him. Well, that's the ball of Peter Hedblom. I suspect way into the trees on the left-hand side. You can see how close he is really to the players walking down the 16th fairway. So no real chance for him, I don't think, to get this ball onto the green. In fact, he's got to make sure that he doesn't leave it in there and completely block his next shot out. So much depends on the type of contact you can make with the ball. Have to be clean. You can see just forcing it underneath the branches. And, well, considering where he was off the tee, he's done pretty well to get it in front of the green in two. And, well, has an outside chance to get up and down to save his par. Second shot from Romero. Just a medium iron. Right on line. Really didn't need that spin. Could have done with a hop forward, but he's probably wondering, well, I need a birdie, but is this man going to drop shots? Who's playing with me? Luna has reached the 18th hole. Another player to have got to the edge of the green in two. And if he can pop this one into the hole, he'll get ahead of Wayne Westner in the clubhouse at 5 under. A little bit of break from right to left. Well, a pretty good try. So hard to know how it's going to come out of those fluffy grass situations on the edge of the green, but Luna played that extremely well. Second shot on the 16th by Tony Johnson. And the players this week able to pick, wipe and place on the fairways because of the amount of rain. As I said at the start of the programme, down in Agadir they've had 19 inches in 3 months, 3 times the average rainfall. A lot of rain up here as well. So players able to clean the ball, place it back on the fairway. So this we know is a clean lie and a chance for Don to play a good shot. Well, pretty good. I think he was expecting it just to bite a little bit quicker. But under the circumstances, good shot by the Swede. Russell, second shot to the 16th. Lead that away to the right. Well, he has. That's not bad. It's okay. Still in there with a chance. He's certainly getting the feel now of what it's like to play in a leading position on the final day of a European Tour event. Luna on the 18th. This his birdie putt to tie Wayne Westner at 5 under. And a good round of golf from Santiago. 69. Good closing couple of birdies there. 2-4 to finish. Strong finish there. So excellent play by the Spanish player. Now Romero gains some advantage. He needs this. Really will certainly make Peter's putt that much more difficult. Not a lot of borrow in it. And if anything, I thought it might have come in from that side, a little bit on the right-hand side. It seemed to go away. Fooled me, fooled him. Maybe a little bit of canny experience there by Romero. Letting his playing partner waiting, just marking the ball, taking a few extra seconds, just giving a little bit longer for Peter to think about the putt that's facing him. Certainly no easy putt this. What's that? 4 feet, 4.5 feet. We're just inside the left edge. You can see that extended putter length going up the inside of his left forearm, just underneath the elbow. A strong putt. So just when you think there's a chink in his armour, Hedblom comes through it. He saves his par. on the 15th, remains at 7 under and 2 ahead of Romero and Luna and Westner, who are already in the clubhouse. So things certainly holding up here, and they're getting close. Whatever you do, don't go away. Rejoin us in a few moments for more golf from Morocco. Welcome back, and you rejoin us as Raymond Russell has a putt on the 16th hole for a birdie. This to get him to 2 under, pretty quick down the slope. Oh my word. Fine putting stroke this man has, and he's certainly kept his rhythm and temperament pretty well over these last few holes, even though things haven't gone for him, and that's still a good attacking putt. So Russell makes his par. He'll breathe a little bit easier. He's probably having a look at the board and trying to calculate what's going to get him into next week. It's probably the wrong thing to do at this time, but hard to give experience to a young man on the tour. A man with a little bit more experience, Tony Johnson, 39 years old, and a couple of good performances this year already. 10th in the FNB, 8th in the PGA Championship of South Africa, and another fine putt there. So a couple of good putts hold by Tony Johnson. He now at 3 under. Hedblom still out with the driver, still giving it a fierce crack, and that's in the bunker. He certainly likes to make things difficult for himself, and you can see if you knock it down the left hand side of this long par 4, you can just shorten the hole a little bit, and that's bunker down the left hand side is the one that Hedblom's in. The hole then turns half left, and another green that's slightly angled, and players not able to see the bottom of the flagstick as they play their seconds. Romero, this was his tee shot. Full flowing swing right up the back of the ball. Well, that a huge tee shot, way past the bunker, and that in prime spot. So just saying, well, I wish I just turned a little bit right to left, but he didn't. Held its line. And a good shot. Johnson on the 17th. See how he's played the hole so far. 3 threes. And look at him fidget on the tee, and I can assure you this, he's actually got better over the last few years. Doesn't fidget quite so much. Shoulders up a little bit quick, always a sign that it's gone right. And he did well to get it in the bunker, a couple of yards right, and that would have been a very tough shot for him. Hole playing 3-4 iron length today. A little bit down the breeze. Oh, and that right on line. So, still playing aggressive golf is Russell, even when things are not going for him. So, a good sign. And here on the 18th, the third shot of Costadino Rocca, and you can see not much room to work with. Got to come over that bunker. A lot of players missing the green with their third shots yesterday, so narrow this green. 10 or 12 feet over that bunker. Oh, he's played it too good. Well, you wouldn't think you could stop it short. And back on the 16th. Still grinding his way out, still leading this event by 2, Peter Hedblom, but he's in the bunker here. The ball's sitting down, not an easy shot. Looks a good lie there, but it's just nesting a little bit in the sand. Really needs to make clean contact. And I think he got that a touch heavy. He has. So once again, he's going to be asked to get it up and down. And this time maybe a little bit further back. It looks a good 60, 70 yards back from the green. And the whole world on his shoulders. You can see how far past that bunker, Romero hit his tee shot. So no sign of tension in his golf swing. Can't be much more than a 7-iron. And the flag, just pulling in a little bit. Good shot from Romero. So is it going to be a 2-shot swing here? On the 17th, Johnson, his bunker shot. Stands well open, opens the face of the sand iron wide open. Once again, player not able to judge how the ball's going to come out through the wet sand. Johnson, normally so good from the bunkers, usually wears a sand iron out every 6 months. He does so much practice out of bunkers. Actually wears the face away in the sand. Now Rucker, usually such a consistent player, missed the cut in his first event on the European Tour this year. Then came back with a 8th and a 4th. And finally one goes in for him at the 18th. Good birdie to finish with for the Italian back in 35. Had to get round in a level par, 72. And 2 under, but you can see nothing much going for him in the middle of the round. All eyes on this man on the last, Peter Mitchell, is to oust John McHenry from Dubai next week. And he and Miles Tunnicliffe will breathe a sigh of relief as they now, I think, can do no worse than 9th place. So they look certain to be playing next week as Peter Mitchell finishes with a 5. Slightly disappointing round of 75, 1 over par. Hedblom's little pitch, the 16th, and you've got to admire this man's guts. That's a great shot. Romero is on fairly close, and what a good reply. Every time you think this man might be wilting, he comes up with something pretty damn good. So back to you, Eduardo. Johnson on the 17th to save par. Water in the background, not really in play on this 17th hole. Oh, normally a pretty good reader of the greens is Tony, but obviously hit that one through the break, or just thought it was going to turn a little bit more. So it looks like a drop shot coming up for South African. That's Romero. Can he hold this? No, he can't. So a good opportunity miss there for the Argentinian player. Really would have put Hedblom on the rack had he held that. Certainly would have made that tough a little bit. Well, that putt a little bit tougher. Johnson taps in for his bogey on 17. Still managing to smile, still keeping his composure, managing to enjoy his golf. Certainly didn't have a great year last year, but coming back pretty strong so far this year. Ooh, well, it bobbled a little bit, but it doesn't matter. It's found the bottom of the hole, and Hedblom stays 2 ahead. This is Russell's par putt on 17. Well, a commentator's nightmare. Just as you say, this man's putting stroke is pretty good. He managing to miss that short putt on the 17th. So Russell goes back to level par as Romero tees off on the 17th. Knows he now must make birdies. So he obviously has gone right at the flagstick, but he's leaked that away into that trap on the right. We know that's no easy shot from there. So Tony Johnson not able to get up and down in two, so he's opened the door once again to this man. Just needs to keep calm over these closing two holes, and the title is his. Alright, he's staying down, but it looks like he's come over the top of that once again. It's another shot dragged away. Well, this time he's got it on the green, but it's a long, long, long way from the hole. On 18. It is tee shot away on the right-hand side. It's managed to open up the green a little bit, but even he from that side has got to draw it round those trees. Westner managing to get up here with an iron. So too did Luna and Woosnam, the average tour player. It's two big hits. Well, he seemed to make good contact, and that's just about where Rocker finished, so you can see that must be 30-40 yards short of the green in two, just to give you some idea of how strong Wayne Westner's two shots were. Hedblom's long approach putt on the 17th must be all 60-70 feet, and a big swing from the right. I'm sure he must be feeling a little bit nervous, and any time you are or have the adrenaline going through the system, never easy to hit these sorts of putts. But that is quite masterly. That is a beautiful putt from the Swedish player, and maybe he's just beginning to enjoy things a little bit. He certainly can't afford to lose his concentration, but that a quite brilliant putt. To get it stone dead from that sort of distance, just have a little tap in. Brilliant. Just what he needed at this time. Certainly with Romero in the bunker. It's going to make Eduardo think just a little bit harder. And he really needs to try and hold this in their open stance. You can see the flange of the sand iron laid right back. Lovely shot. Lovely shot from Romero. Hasn't won in Europe since '94. He won the Italian and European Masters, showing good style and technique here out of the bunker. Really just flipping it up. And can't understand why it didn't hop a little bit to his right and maybe go in the hole. Only played half a season in Europe last year, still managed to finish 91st on the money list with winnings of £87,000. Had 12 starts in the United States, missed the cut in 9 of them, only won $25,000. Lost his heart playing out there and has now decided to come back to Europe, where he says the players and galleries are much warmer, friendlier, suits his game. And it's very good to see this likeable man back playing on the PGA European Tour. This to keep 2 shots behind Hedblom. Well done, right into the heart. So as he walks to the 18th hole, anything can happen. Anything can happen to this man. That's the third shot of Raymond Russell. And he really is making things hard work over these closing 9 holes. He's got 3 shots, I suspect, to get down in if he wants to play next week. By the way he's playing, looks like he's going to need all of them. Just to confirm, Hedblom out ahead by 2 from Westner in the clubhouse and Luna also there, but Romero has a chance. Could he perhaps eagle this last hole? Will Hedblom make a birdie? Who knows? Peter Mitchell there finishing disappointingly at 1 over par, but things still on a knife edge as we take a short break here. Rejoin us in a few moments for more golf from Dar es Salaam. And welcome back to the final stages of the Moroccan Open at Dar es Salaam. Can Peter Hedblom win his first European Tour title? Can Raymond Russell get down in 2 or 3 shots to be certain of playing next week in Dubai? The Walker Cup man played in 93. Good opening rounds, 69, 74 and 70. But not doing so well over these closing holes. The 18th here, very stern test, and you can see very tight driving hole. Bunkers down the left-hand side to stop those players trying to shorten the hole a little bit. And then the hole turns quite severely from right to left. Very, very narrow green, so if you do lay up, you've got to make sure that you lay it up in the right spot. Just, well, only a few feet wide and well guarded by bunkers on the right-hand side. Tony Johnson on the final hole. This to get him to 3 under. A very slippery putt it is too. Oh, just breathed on it. And you wish he breathed a little bit harder. You just can't believe he could leave it short, right in the heart of the hole. He just obviously thought all he had to do was get that moving and concentrated so hard on getting the line right, he just didn't hit it hard enough, but still managing to smile. And, well, 37-36, halves there for 73 total, 2 under par. But a good performance from Tony Johnson. There's Romero on the 18th tee. Really needs to birdie or eagle the hole. Gave it a fierce lash there. Certainly going to try and attack this and get up in 2. Beautiful tee shot from Romero. He's driven the ball so well today. Hardly been down the right or left-hand side of the fairways. Been right in the heart. There you can see the bunker on the caption there that guards the left-hand side, and this hole, even as a par 5, playing slightly harder than par index, 5.03. That's not going to worry Peter Hedblom. All he's going to be thinking of is getting it on the fairway. If he makes a par here, then Romero has to eagle the hole to tie. Must hit it on the fairway. Looking a little bit right. But that's okay. That's down the right half of the fairway, and he's really got his options open now. Good sensible tee shot from Hedblom, and that's one of the few that we've seen actually finish down the right-hand side of the fairway. Russell for a par. So if he taps this in, he will finish at 1 over. That will see him into a tie for 9th place. Certainly earn him a big check, somewhere around £6,500, so it's a good week's work, but it could have been so much better. Certainly put himself into a good place to vie for this title, but I suppose he'll be pleased with the check and pleased with the fact that he's playing next week. Hedblom out with an iron, just a medium iron, going to lay it up down the right-hand side. Obviously he's picked a spot that he knows that he can hit a pitch into the green. No heroics required at this moment. And not a better swing too. maybe beginning to relax off a little. Comes from a good golfing background, coached by his father, who was a professional, his wife, his sister Marlene, trying a hand on the American Express Tour. Even though she missed a card, she still may get to play a few events. Romero. Oof. Oh, the crowd love it, and he's really given it the business. Oh, and he's carried it onto the green. What a cracking shot by Romero. Well, that really is a beautiful shot, and I wonder what is going through Peter Hedblom's mind now. Look at that face on Romero. Well, we haven't seen too many people make an eagle down this last hole, and he's not left himself a particularly easy putt, but it's there for the taking, and a little more worried look crosses the face of Peter Hedblom. Still, he's got to put that out of his mind. That's what they're playing for. And a cheque of £58,330 to the winner. 38,884 second place. And things getting very tense around this 18th hole. All caused by the way this man has played over these last 2 days. Can he stay calm? Gone a little right. Gone right at it. That's a beautiful shot. And there's one thing you can say about him. He's been certainly brave. A little bit disappointing maybe for him to spin the ball back so far down the 18th, but he's finished in the right spot. He's got the uphill putt, and that a good pressure situation survived for the Swedish player. He looks across at Romero. A little nod. Romero obviously saying, good shot, well done. But Romero's got to visualize the ball, line and the pace. Certainly not a putt here on 18 that he can attack. He's got to hit a pretty delicate putt. Certainly a good 3 or 4 feet left of the hole. Never easy for right-handed players. See how far he's aiming this away to the left-hand side. Look at that ball swing. And maybe it was even further left than I thought, but it's not in the hole. And well, hard to know how far that is. Probably because he's marked it must be a good couple of feet. Normally players at this stage would finish ahead of the person who looks likely to win. But, a lot of money at stake. Romero deciding to mark the ball. Hedblom certainly can't afford a 3-putt, needs 2, with Romero more than likely going to make a birdie to get to 6. Well, it's on line and it's a good putt, and that's all he needs. Sure, he'll mark it. That's just a few inches short of the hole. He would have loved it to go in, but if it doesn't go in, that's the place to leave it. You can see the names on there. Defending champion Mark James, 95, Anders Forsbrand in 94, Guilford in 92 and 93, and Howard Clark in 87. And no doubt now that the name of Peter Hedblom will be there in 96. Can Romero finish ahead of Westner and Luna already in the clubhouse? He can with that birdie. So Romero finishes at 6 under par. Fine closing round of 69 for him. Had chances over the closing 9 holes, but just couldn't buy a putt. And the man that did putt so well over these closing holes, this man here, Peter Hedblom. That's it. Hedblom is the Moroccan Open champion, and the first time, I'm sure, in 2 days he can breathe a sigh of relief. Warm congratulations there from Eduardo Romero. And suddenly all the weight that's been on his shoulders for the last 4 days is lifted, and Romero can really savour the moment. Peter Hedblom, Moroccan Open champion, 1996. What a fine moment, one that he'll never forget, I'm sure. So confirmation there, Hedblom wins by 1 shot from Romero. Westner, well, he had his opportunities, so did Luna. They finish a further shot back at 5 under, and another good performance by the Volvo rankings winner, Ian Woosnam. So once again, congratulations to Hedblom. A fine victory, very gutsy performance over the closing 36 holes, but he managed to put it off even when he wasn't playing at his best. Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed our coverage of today's event. Next Thursday, we will be at the Emirates Golf Course for the Dubai Desert Classic with all 4 days live golf, so make sure you join us then. From me, Warren Humphreys, goodbye.
The PGA European Tour was brought to you by Volvo.